to the station's website, WNJC1360AM. The instructions are all there for listening in. Okay, until next time, remember to always try and remain happy, be safe, and may God always richly bless you. Kevin, when this goes off, just kind of exit out right here, okay? Well, I'll stay with it, and then you can just sit down, okay?
Oh yeah, my guest was gonna call him.
Oh, well, here, what's the number?
500 703 9861.
My desktop actually changed.
Whoa, that's cool. Keep that.
That's bad. You wanna go there?
Person's name.
Michael Budkie.
Yes, it's Mike. Okay, this is WNJC Radio Home. I'm not going with Kevin. Okay, just a minute.
John, you're right to start a drink from there, right?
I took the other one.
And when you're ready, just, flip this over. All right? Ready to bring them on. Right.
Can he hear
You
it?
have 2 minutes. Yeah, he'll be able to hear it.
I mean, what's playing now?
Yeah, he can hear it. Yeah, he has the mic on.
Cool.
Is this like French? Yes, and vibration. Turn off your vibration.
But this is Italian. Oh, Ave Maria.
Oh, I'd like to come here dinner. I'm gonna pizza
I'm not
there.
gonna eat it during the
I
show.
like pizza.
Ave Maria. I love it. I love when she does it.
I like the pizza.
When was the last time you had a genuine Italian pizza?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Genuine Italian?
If I go to Italy, the first thing I'm eating is pizza. Because I want to see how it tastes different.
You're going to Italy?
Guarantee you. No, I said if I go to Italy, first thing I'm doing is getting a pizza. Because guarantee it's going to taste a lot better than whatever weekend must they're out.
I don't know where that is, but I'll find it. Does he just hear the station on hold, or does he hear us?
You have a mic on. You can hear us, right?
Oh, okay. Hi, Michael.
Don't say nothing derogatory about him now.
Oh, jeez. No, actually, he's very
Yeah, we
nice
won't,
guy.
Mike.
This is 1360 AM. WNJC, Washington Township, Philadelphia. Philadelphia's Renaissance radio station. Brought to you from Forsyth Broadcasting. Or listen to us at WNJCradio.com.
Okay, Kevin, take it away.
So? You're funny. You're being videotaped.
That's all right. Hi, America. This is what we look like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We're just a bunch of nuts.
You're too cool.
Now I know. I know what I'm gonna do next time. The ashtray in my desk is $5. I don't buy it. How much does that cost per room? So I'll buy one of them and like a hash brown and pretzel.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Kevin Storm Show. I'd like to wish some folks a happy birthday. Yesterday was Alex Lidman of Lakewood, New Jersey, and Sea Shepherd volunteer John Tribolette of Eugene, Oregon. On Monday, our friend Claudia Zagray, Deborah Miller, and Megan Riley. Tuesday is Nigel Fullwood and Justice Copeland. Wednesday is Erica Reynolds. Thursday is Kayla Jimenez. Friday is Carol Updegraff, if I said that wrong, sorry. Dr. Michael Greger. Saturday is Jonathan Carlisle, Nathan Allen Appleby, Donna Ueno?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember how to say it. That's a
Alec
tough one.
Ford, and as of October 21st, gay couples can marry in New Jersey. Microphone.
Events? Yeah.
For events, October 25th, Friday, Real Food Works invites you to a book signing by Fran Costigan at 6 p.m. at the Main Point Books in Bryn Mawr, PA. The SSJ has a free lecture series at Camden County Library in Voorhees, New Jersey at 7 p.m. with Dr. Steve Blake entitled Defeating Diabetes. Sunday, October 27th, Sea Shepherd Conservation Society is having a Coney Island cleanup at the boardwalk from 1 to 3 p.m. We can't go to that since we'll be at the home of the Hewley family for a show with some awesome vegan kids. We're here with Michael Budkie. He is the co-founder of a group called SAEN, S-A-E-N, Stop Animal Exploitation Now. The website is www.saenonline.org. They are a top-rated nonprofit based in Milford, Ohio, working toward total liberation of animals from laboratories. I met Michael at an AR conference in this year.
Yeah.
In DC. It's nice to finally have you on, Michael. How are you today?
Oh, very good. Thank you for bringing me on the show. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Well, what inspired your activism, and how did you get the group started?
Well, my wife Karen and I co-founded SAEN in 1996, but we've been involved in animal rights issues since 1986. We became sensitive or interested in the animal research issue as a result of the education which I obtained because I was actually educated and trained inside an animal laboratory. I have a degree in animal health technology, which education-wise makes me essentially the veterinary equivalent of a registered nurse, but veterinary technicians or animal health technicians basically do one of two things usually as a career. Either they work for veterinarians in private practice or they work in animal laboratories. And so many of the things that we're working to stop now are things that I was literally taught how to do. The kind of procedures that are a part of things like the LD50 test, which is an oral toxicity test that involves rats and mice usually, is something that I was literally taught how to do. I remember very vividly when I was being taught this procedure, having a rat die in my hand because I did the procedure incorrectly. But the thing that I think I learned from that was that because the class I was in, the faculty and the students actually made a joke of the fact that I had killed this animal, and that taught me very early on that for those that are involved in animal experimentation, the animals are really nothing more than objects, and if you break one, you just kind of throw them away.
Wow.
What type of animals did you? What type of other animals did you experiment with?
Well, animal laboratories use there's a very broad spectrum of animals that are used in laboratories. If you look at it kind of on a spectrum in terms of size, the smallest ones typically are rats and mice. They go all the way up through rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, dogs, cats, and then the largest
nonprofit, and what does the donation money go to?
Well, we're a nonprofit because we're a publicly supported organization. We're actually a charitable advocacy organization, and the budget money goes for a number of different things. The cost of doing investigations, the cost of doing things like holding news conferences to expose the abuses that are going on in laboratories, the cost of getting staff so we can approach these issues in a professional manner. We run television commercials on the animal research issue. There's really a very wide range of things that the money goes for, but it's basically to allow us to be effective and make a difference for animals in laboratories.
Hi, it's Sue. How you doing, Michael?
Oh, very good. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask you, do you have various chapters all over the United States?
Well, we have staff members in a number of different states, but we tend to, instead of starting chapters in different locations, in most cities there are grassroots organizations that already exist, and we try to work with grassroots activists and organizations and provide them with technical assistance and the expertise to make their activism more effective. We do everything from showing activists how to do investigations to providing a professional to do news and press releases for them. We provide training to grassroots activists. In fact, just a little over a week ago, we finished or completed doing our third Free the Animals conference in Los Angeles, which brought activists together literally from from around the world. We had people in attendance that were from Australia as well as England, Hawaii, and all over the U.S. And the big focus of these conferences is to train activists and to give them the skills to allow them to be more effective to work on the animal research issue as well as any other issue that they really want to be effective on.
Yeah, I'm looking on YouTube and I just found some videos of specific protests, and they're uploaded by Morgan Dunbar. Is she part of your local group that you associate with regularly?
Morgan is a grassroots activist in the Buffalo, New York area, and she's been involved in a number of things we've done, but if you look around on YouTube, you'll probably also find some videos from protests we've done at UCLA, as well as some of the speaking presentations we've done at the National AR conferences. Check our YouTube channel, and there are a lot of videos posted there.
What are your current projects going on, and what do you do when you're not fighting for animals?
Well, currently, in fact, literally later today, we have a protest going on at the University of California, Davis. We're exposing the negligence of this facility, which has killed 2 infant primates, as well as allowing 50 monkeys to escape from their enclosures. And though we would obviously like the primates to be free from the facility, we think it's very indicative of the negligence and incompetence of the facility, because laboratories like UC Davis literally get tens of millions of dollars every year from the federal government to perform primate research, and it's really very telling that they're so incompetent they can't even seem to keep the animals in the cages. Other than that, really working on animal rights issues is what both my wife Karen and I spend the vast majority of our time on. We do have a number of companion animals that we share our home with, and when we're not actively working on, organizing a protest or investigating a laboratory or something of that nature, we try to spend as much time as we can with the companion animals in our home.
I think it's wonderful what you do. I put the website on the show's announcement of your interview today, and you have an events page. I just wanted to repeat the website is www.saenonline.org, and there's an events page that you can click the link to on the left-hand side that has a list of protests and other announcements. Thank you. Kevin?
I understand, John, you have a question?
Yeah, I feel that the intro song that we had really stands for like what you felt.
Okay.
And
yeah.
what kind of places did you find? Like, how bad were they when you freed the animals from there?
I couldn't quite hear that.
Oh, I asked you like when you freed the animals, how bad were like their pens and stuff? Yeah, the conditions of it.
Well, what we see as far as the conditions of the animals in laboratories is that, again, I'll talk about non-human primates because we tend to get a little bit more information about them, but we see everything from primates having diseases like encephalitis or meningitis to primates that have hurt with severe traumatic injuries because they're extremely stressed by being in the laboratory setting. In their natural habitat, animals like macaque monkeys will obviously spend a lot of time in trees. They'll cover as much as a square mile of territory in a given day, whereas in a laboratory setting, they spend their entire lives in what are really very little more than stainless steel boxes that are designed to be easy to clean, and so they literally are extremely highly stressed and very often lose their minds, and so they'll begin to attack not only each other but in some instances themselves, and so there are very high incidences of traumatic injuries. And we see a lot of other very serious problems with animals in laboratories, everything from serious diseases to injuries that occur. We recently did an expose about the University of Oklahoma because we discovered through our investigations that they were improperly euthanizing animals as part of a research project where the animals were not even adequately anesthetized. And we're talking about dogs here. And these dogs could well have been former companion animals, a companion that someone might have had in their home. And the way that these dogs were being killed is that they were literally being electrocuted. And they're supposedly anesthetized during these procedures, but in the same document where the USDA cited the lab for not using proper euthanasia methods, they also cited them for not using proper anesthesia in literally the same experiment. So we could be talking about dogs that were at least partially conscious being killed by electrocution.
What happens to the animals after they've been rescued?
Well, in many instances, the rescues that we've been involved with have been involved with the primates, and we've been able to ensure that they've gone into primate sanctuaries whose purpose is solely to care for the needs of these primates and make them really the center, to make their lives as good as they possibly can be. Unfortunately, primates that have been in laboratories can't be released back into their natural habitat because they're accommodated and very used to being around human beings. But in many instances, they can go into primate sanctuaries that do their very best to mimic the natural setting that these primates would be in. And I have to say, it does you a lot of good and really gives your heart a lot of joy to see a macaque monkey that had been spending his or her entire life in a stainless steel cage that was little more than 2 or 3 feet in one direction or another, in an enclosure that now allows them to climb around, to be in trees, and to literally move through the enclosure and really be in a setting that is as close as possible to what their natural habitat would have been.
Is your family vegan?
Yes, my wife and I became vegan together in 1986, and we've raised our daughter Elise, who's now 23 years old, vegan for her entire life.
Oh, wow, 23 years, that's great.
Wow. Do you remember, like, when she was going to school, did she ever get, made fun of, or have any trouble, like, being vegan?
Well, it's not always, as I'm sure you know, it's not always simple because the world is not always
fantastic. My son's friend John is here. He had asked you a question earlier, and they're 12 and 13. So like other kids their age, ask questions sometimes about what it's like to be vegan because they still have the misconception it's just diet. But if they did want to get involved in helping to save animals, what would be the best advice you could give them to help them get started?
Well, the first thing that I think any activist should do is educate themselves thoroughly, because for any activist to be effective, you need to know what you're talking about. You have to have the information so that when you discuss an issue with another person, you can give them the facts and educate them so that you can effectively change their opinion. But the other thing that I think is important for all activists is to find one area that is what you're really the most passionate about and focus in that area. I think one of the mistakes a lot of activists and even a lot of activist organizations make is they try to do too many things. And I'm not saying that you can't work on more than one issue, but I think the activists and the organizations, such as SAEN, that are the most effective are the ones that focus all their energy in one area, because really even just to manage the information on multiple different issues is something of an overload. We focus on animal research exclusively, and even in that area, there is just a mountain of information to deal with. And so I think that for individual activists to really make a difference, the best way to do that is to pick an issue and learn everything you possibly can about it, and then try to move forward and do things in your area that allow you to be involved in the issue that you're the most passionate about.
Can you tell us about some successful campaigns?
Well, certainly, and I think earlier this year there was an announcement that I think is probably the biggest success we've ever had. In April of this year, Harvard announced that in 2015 they will be closing the New England Primate Research Center, and that is a result of a multi-year campaign which we've been involved in. Just in, I believe it was 2012, our work generated over 24 negative news stories about Harvard and the primate center due to their negligence and the fact that they were killing non-human primates through just really stupid things like not bothering to hang a water bottle on a primate's cage and then allowing them to die of dehydration. And so we were able to exert so much public pressure against Harvard that in 2015 they're going to close the New England Primate Research Center. But also in 2012 we were able to pressure the Penn State Medical School into totally eliminating the use of non-human primates. There have been a number of laboratories such as MPI Research in Michigan, which we've been able to pressure the USDA to issue fines against for violating the Animal Welfare Act. Another facility which is still an ongoing campaign for us is Santa Cruz Biotech. It's a laboratory in California that uses goats to produce antibodies that they sell to other laboratories. And Santa Cruz Biotech in 2012 violated the Animal Welfare Act 26 times. And we were able, again, to force the USDA to take very meaningful enforcement actions against them. The federal complaint which they filed against this lab was over 10 pages long. So we've been very successful at exposing what goes on in laboratories, and I think one of the things that really is the most meaningful that we've seen is that public opinion on the animal research issue is changing, especially in younger populations. It is getting to the point where the majority of younger people are actually opposed to the use of animals in laboratories. And so we believe that the future on this issue is going to be very positive, that as time goes on, we are going to see less and less animals in laboratories.
John, you have a question?
Yeah, due to your group, what kind of car would you have since it's non-profit?
Well,
What kind of what do we have?
he wants to know what kind of car do you drive?
Oh, it's a Hyundai.
Okay.
It's a 2003 Hyundai. We actually don't drive very much because we spend so much time doing the activism that we're involved with that I spend my wife and I both spend far more time sitting in front of a computer than driving, except of course when we're going around the country doing activism as we are right now. But it's really a very all-encompassing thing. So we spend much more time behind a desk than we do behind the wheel.
When you have time to go out to eat, do you have any favorite places that serve vegan food?
Well, one of the restaurant chains that we like is the Supreme Master Loving Hut restaurant.
Yeah.
In fact, we ate at one here in Sacramento area yesterday because it's actually a chain of non-profit restaurants whose sole purpose is to promote people being vegan. And so when an organization or a restaurant chain makes veganism their sole purpose, of course, that's something we want to support. So we eat at those restaurants as often as we possibly can.
We have two here in New Jersey, and I've been to one of them in Ledgewood, and it's really, really good food. And I'm happy that they have the tofu cheesecake. That's
Did I
my
go?
favorite dessert. No, but I've brought you stuff home from there.
Oh yeah, you brought me their
There-
cheesecake.
There's one in Cincinnati as well, and we've eaten at the Supreme Master restaurants here in Sacramento. I believe there's one in San Francisco. There's one in Cincinnati. They're all around the world, and they even have. You probably noticed many of them have. Supreme Master has a television network, and they show videos in many of their restaurants that talk about environmental and animal protection issues. In fact, they even did a broadcast based on a presentation that we had done at one point, and produced a video of it that they gave us to use, and did all of that totally with free of charge to us.
Yeah, we found out about them through the Veggie Pride Parade. We've gone every year that we've had one here in New York. Kevin, we need to start wrapping things up, but Michael,
Oh, yeah,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
How do you do it? All the time.
Okay.
If you get a chance, he has an international postcard challenge. He's trying to collect postcards from his fans all around the world. So if you have a moment, if you could mail one, that'd be great. The radio station address is on the website. Is facebook.com, Abolition and Media.
Looks like we get some cheers to our first participants, Lee
Yeah.
Hall and Victoria Moran. Thank you for sending in postcards.
Oh, Victoria
Really
Moran
appreciate it.
wrote a great book.
Yeah,
What is the title of the book? I'm drawing a blank off the top of my
I
head.
especially like Lee Hall. She's got a picture of a seal.
Oh, Lee Hall's right in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
Very cool.
Okay. Well, thanks to the postcard senders, and just go ahead and keep sending them.
Thanks again,
Okay.
Michael.
Yep. Okay.
alright. We have a couple of things before you play your closing song. We have a list of fans that are outside the United States because as of yesterday, I think it was, there was 445 fans in America, and we have 20 in Australia, 17 in Canada, 17 in the UK, 8 in Germany, 3 in New Zealand, 3 in India, 2 in Macedonia, 2 in Italy, 2 in Peru, 2 in Sweden, 1 in Saudi Arabia, and let's see, Slovenia, South Korea, El Salvador, Switzerland, Ireland, Singapore, Bangladesh, South Africa, United Arab Emirates, Belgium, Zambia, Tunisia, Serbia, Portugal, Tanzania, Puerto Rico, Hong Kong, Japan, Denmark, and Spain.
And don't forget Brazil.
And yes, and there's some in Brazil, but they're not on Facebook. So these are all the accountable ones from Facebook, and we just want to say hello to all of them and thank you for your support. Someone named Arafuzaman Akash is a fan, and he's in Bangladesh. He's 28 years old. He posted about an event for October 27th. It's an anti-bullfighting event, and I'm sure if you look him up or you look on Kevin's personal page, you'll notice that he's, I think he's the only one there from Bangladesh. Arafuzuman Akash. Alright,
Well,
that's all I have.
For
Closing
my
song?
co-hosts, John and Sue, this is Kevin Storm signing off. See you next week.
Great show.
Bye.
Abrupt ending, but there you go. Took the mic off.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
Okay,
care.
see ya.
Bye.
John, what's up? Yes, gracias.
Why did you hear what kind of car he drives?
You wanted to hear him say he has friends. Did you hear it, or are you too busy?
Oh, no, I was
Stressing
listening.
over
No, I was
you
listening.
talking.
Oh, no, that's no big deal.
Oh, God.
You can hardly even hear it anyway.
Really good.
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien.
Muy bien. ¿Tú? Muy bien.
Muy bien.
You speak Spanish?
Some.
No?
Un poco?
Muy bien. No, I was telling, right here, who plays guitar, he has a guitar, and it makes it unique. It makes this program unique, because nobody plays guitar.
That would be funny if you played one.
There you go.
Very good. Oh, he smells good.
You gotta listen to it on the radio. You'll
Stand
hear it.
behind the
I'm gonna
stand
save
behind the
your
camera,
program, give it to you, Pat.
and I'm gonna say peace, and then you're gonna shut it off right then. Okay? So that I like disappear right as. Okay. John, you know how to rap? Wait. Ready? Ready? Get ready to turn on.
Okay.
Peace.